If you are looking for all things real estate and an in-depth look at market fluctuations and answers to all your buying and selling questions, look no further than real estate expert Lisa Hill. Lisa brings her vast 15-year knowledge directly to you every week, sharing her own struggles as she navigates you through the twists and turns of the real estate world. Lisa has been sober for 9 years and has been motivating people ever since. A speaker, mentor, and teacher, each week Lisa will welcome guests from all facets of the industry to ensure you are as informed as possible before making any real estate decisions. This is the Lisa Hill Show, real estate for the real world.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Lisa Hill Show, real estate for the real world. I'm your host, Lisa Hill. I have a super exciting show today. I have a good guest on, David Durham. He's a 20-year-old entrepreneur, speaker, author of You Must, and has done over 4.8 million and is a leading expert in training individuals for success. Hey, David.
How you doing, Lisa?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Thank you so much for coming on. You know, we are so excited because we actually wrote a book and finished it this week.
Yep.
So our new book that's coming out is your first real estate commission check in less than 60 days. David and I both started young in real estate, and we both received our first commission check with under 60 days. And so really excited about that, super pumped. And so David, thank you so much for coming on. And I want you to tell the guests out there and the listeners a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the business.
Yeah, you guys. So like Lisa said, my name's David Durham. I've been in the business almost a year now. I was actually getting in the business at 19 years old. Before I was an internet manager at Toyota, and I was looking to buy a condo. And I had a friend in the business, and we always went back and forth because I sold cars and he sold homes. And those are like, you know, the two most expensive items that you could sell.
Sure.
And so I was doing, 20 to 30 cars a month, and he was selling homes, and I was like, hey man, I kind of want to buy a condo and invest in myself. And so we got together and we started talking about buying a condo, and he invited me to the team meeting at Keller Williams. And Lisa, you know Keller Williams is awesome. They've got the best energy for any real estate company out there. And so I went to the team meeting.
And then that was it.
And then it was a wrap. It was a wrap. I met, the team leaders. I met a bunch of different agents. I already felt connected. I could see, they were like a family.
Yeah.
And so after talking with them, I was like, man, if I'm killing it in cars, like why not transfer all that energy into real estate? A different type of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got my entrepreneur DNA
and
in
you were
me.
19?
I was 19. I was.
And they were like, what do you know about real estate, right?
Yeah, exactly, right? Because you're so young.
Yeah.
Right?
And so did you feel, being young in the industry, that you had a little bit more to prove?
I love that you bring that up, because so many agents get into the industry young and they leave so quickly. They are so intimidated because you're asking someone to pay you $15,000 to sell their house, right? And they think they're too young. They have that self-limiting belief. Mm-hmm. And when you're this young, being in the business, it can either work for or against you, and there's no in between. It's either like it's against you, or like they're hiring you because you're young.
Yeah.
And it's how you walk in with confidence and know what you're talking about.
And just know, like we talk about in our book, just know that this is your livelihood. This is like do or die.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, you walk in and you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. This is what I'm going to do. So I transferred from selling, I was 19 also when I got into real estate, and I was selling cell phones.
Okay.
And so same thing, I transferred that momentum. I was selling cell phones and I was like doing really good at it. And my mom was in real estate. And I thought, okay, if I can carry that same momentum in sales and transfer it over, then why not? Why not move it over to real estate?
For sure. And it definitely does transfer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then now you have a book out. Well, you have two. We co-authored our book. But your first book, You Must.
Yes, You Must. You guys all must buy it.
You were in my head today. So yesterday I was making calls, And I wanted to stop making calls. I'm like, I must finish making. And I did. And I actually got great results when I pushed through that ceiling.
Yep.
When I was like right about to stop, I'm like, no, you know what? I wrote it down. I'm going to finish this today. That's what I did. I have to do it. I must do it. I'm like, shit. And I did. And it felt great to do it. So tell the listeners about your book. It's super exciting.
For sure. And by the way, I mean, that's where the biggest breakthroughs come is right when you're about to stop, huh?
Yep.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Even on the daily basis.
Yep.
You Must really has about 10 different principles to follow for success breakthroughs, right? That could be in life and in business. It's actually being published right now. Shout out Caleb and Matt Maddox. It's with their Maddox Publishing. And so it's currently being published. It's not out yet. I am super excited to release it to everybody. It's just got some great principles, for having any type of breakthrough.
Yeah. So for everyday living, basically.
Everyday living and for success breakthroughs for sure.
So what are some of the principles in the book?
Some of the principles, some of my favorite ones is the fear. It talks about fear. So fear of failing and fear of what other people think. I think those are what's really holding everybody's back, right?
Everybody.
Absolutely.
Everybody gets held back by fear.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. Some people don't even know what they're afraid of. They're just, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
And it always comes down to fear. Mm-hmm. Fear is actually one of the only true feelings. Everything else can fall into two categories in, one or two, happiness or fear.
Right.
And fear can break off into anxiety. That all the root problem is fear.
Right. And if you can learn to master it, you can have the biggest breakthroughs of your life. That's what's amazing.
Like we talk about in our book, we talk about falling in love with rejection.
Yeah.
So we had a little contention about this topic because I'm like,
we did.
I'm like, David, can I write in there that you love rejection? Because I don't love rejection. I don't love being rejected, but you learn to like it. I'm like, okay, I'm more of like a warm up into rejection, but you love rejection.
Yeah, so I mean, the difference of it is loving the rejection. It's not necessarily falling in love with literally being told no, but it's falling in love with the process of getting rejected because you're one step closer.
It's
progress. What I mean? It's progress, right? One of my favorite sayings: "There's no backwards."
Yeah.
And you just keep getting rejected and rejected and rejected, and you're just that much closer to your next yes.
Yeah.
And so we definitely dive into it in the book.
Yeah.
And I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we didn't talk about how I don't love the rejection part, but I really do. I remember one time I went, I was soliciting for a listing, right? Mm-hmm. And I went with another agent, and so I was knocking on the door and giving him something. So it wasn't like door knocking, it was specific, like, hey, this is what I'm contacting you for. The guy opens the door and I talk to him. He's like, no, hell no, no. He's like, no, I'm not selling. I'm not. I'm like, okay. And I'm walking back to the car and I have like the biggest smile on my face because I was like, yes. And in the car and the agent's like, did you get the listing? I was like, no, he told me to F off. And he's like, well, why are you smiling? I'm like, well, I don't know, because I made contact with somebody and it's a numbers game. So then the next person I can go to, they might say yes or they might say no. If they say no, then it's one step closer. I was like pumped up. I'm like, I had a conversation, like it broke the ice. I got rejected, but then it gave me like balls to keep doing it. So then I kept going. I'm like, that wasn't so bad. Like, all right, like, okay, I got rejected once. It was like one of the first ones too. And the guy was flat out like, no, get the hell out of here. I mean, he rejected me so hard. And I'm like, okay, no problem. What about, no. I'm like, okay. And then I walk back out and I have like this smile on my face. And you would have thought, I mean, he thought I got the listing. He's like, oh, you got this $1 million listing.
Confused.
I was like, no, he told me to F off. Like, no.
Right.
But yeah, like that rejection part is, if you can break through that, then...
Yeah, and that transfers to any sales industry, not just real estate. And it's not just, it's the rejection and the fear of failure. And I feel they actually are pretty closely connected. Mm-hmm. I mean, being new into real estate, I was super excited when I'd go to a listing appointment, even if I didn't get the listing. Want to know why? Because I got that experience. And soon enough, I got so upset with not getting the listings. I was like, there's no way I'm going to go to another listing appointment and not get it. Yeah. So it fuels that fire. Mm-hmm. And if you're not consistently prospecting enough and getting told no enough, you're not going to have as many at-bats, right? As like Gary Vaynerchuk would say, you don't have as many as at-bats. And so,
you wait for perfection all the time. There's so many people, we talk about that in our book as well. People get ready to get ready to get ready.
I know, yeah.
And then they don't do it. It's like, okay, let's just do it. You do it, you get the at bat, you get the experience, because nothing can replace the actual experience
of failing and moving forward from it, for sure. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, and people might have heard this many times before. The most successful people have failed the most, right? It's just they've learned the most from all those lessons. It's almost impossible to learn from your successes, because why would you want to change anything if you got the result you were looking for?
Exactly.
So that mental mindset flip will take you amazing places, for sure.
That's good. So your book. So we're talking about the principles of your book,
Yep.
but you also, you went to Florida, right?
Yeah.
And saw Caleb Maddox. And so that kind of catapulted it and launched the book. So tell us a little bit about your trip to Florida, your life-changing trip.
Yeah, Florida was amazing. I actually went out there for a VIP program. It's this one-on-one coaching opportunity Matt and Caleb offer. And first, I got to say, it was humid, man. I'm so not used to Florida, but it was gorgeous. It was my first time there. St. Petersburg was absolutely amazing. And it was a great experience. So we really broke through on the reasons for my life-changing experience. Right, we broke through the reason why I was even in real estate in the first place. And then it really broke down to, I'm in it because I wanted to build a business to then inspire and impact others to make a change for themselves, for the better, right? And help them with their successes and become a coach. And I realized I can do that now.
Yeah.
Right, that was my huge breakthrough. And so that's why I'm actually starting to step out of real estate a little bit. I've opened my coaching business. It's going great. I'm working with some awesome clients and helping them make their own success breakthroughs. And at the same time, speaking at sales forces, going into schools and things like that and helping impact others. And that's really where my heart's at. And that's the big change I had from that experience being in Florida.
Yeah. And the amazing part, what you said, because you're a coach as well.
Right.
But what you said is that they brought something out of you. They made you realize it. And that's what coaches do.
Exactly. I'm so happy you brought that up, right? I just hired another coach myself for this new, not new, but more so career that I'm pursuing earlier than later, I would say, right? And coaches have coaches. And the most successful people in the world have mindset, life, health, fitness, marriage, business, literally every type of coach that you can afford, because they know what it does for their life. And
I have coaches for every area because I need to be reeled in.
Right, consistently.
Because I'm learning based. I'm always willing to improve, but I have blind spots. I'm human. I can go along thinking that everything's great in this area, and maybe it's not. But coaches don't tell you what to do. No one can tell them what to do anyways, like nobody. But I'll just get that straight. But what they do is give me insight on some of my behaviors and hold me accountable, because I want to be held accountable. And I truly do. I'm like, okay, so my business coach, okay, well, are you making all your calls? Are you doing this? You're doing this? Okay, if the answer is no, they can't make me get to the production level that I need to. They give me the insight and say, Lisa, you're kicking ass. Or Lisa, what about tweaking this?
Absolutely.
What about this? So coaches are it's funny that you said they told me this. No one is making you do anything.
Yeah, and they didn't even tell me. They just help self-discover. And I think that's also more of an old school type of coaching, just asking all the questions. They didn't do that, but they just asked me some really good questions, and immediately I was like, I just had a light bulb hit off, and that's kind of how it kicked off. But you're 100% correct. Like, that helped coach me. I help coach others. My coaches have coaches too. Every most successful person they're gonna have coaches and multiple of them.
Yeah, and you should be getting a return on your investment for every coach that you have.
Oh, and I can almost guarantee you will.
Yeah. If you're hiring the right person for the right reasons and you're doing the work.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your coaching program. So I know that you were gearing your business towards 18 to 24-year-olds, but I know now it's a little the Salesforce stuff, because you've done it. I mean, congratulations. I mean, that's awesome. The amount of business that you've done in such a short time is phenomenal.
Thank you.
So I've been in the real estate business for 15 years and I don't see that a lot. So you're a rare find in the real estate business where you actually get in, you kick major ass, you close stuff, and you could take it to any industry.
Right. So what was your question that you wanted me to, my coaching program, right? So I am already, stepping out of it, and it really transfers from any industry. And that's why I feel, I'm a master at your mindset, productivity, and prospecting. And any one of those I could, to be quite frank, I don't call myself a real estate expert. I'm a sales expert. I know what it takes to get in rapport with somebody, have the right mindset, doing the right things, being most productive during the day, and the right prospecting skills that got me the business. And as far as my coaching program, there's a 5-step formula through it that I take everybody through. I was focusing on 18 to 24-year-olds because I would love to impact, the kids my age and kids maybe even younger. And that's still my goal. And I've had people that are older and reach out that want some help. So I've just kind of expanded it, that's my goal, is to help anybody and everybody and help impact them.
That's good.
So
awesome. What's the 5-step process?
So the 5-step formula, I typically go into it more with my clients. We do review throughout the 3-month minimum of a time frame. We go over mindset, right?
That's so important.
Because your inner world creates your outer world. That's one of my affirmations every morning, and I love it. And it's absolutely true. You're not going to get anywhere without a bulletproof mindset, right? And continuous work on it daily. So actually giving them an action plan. So when I go over my coaching program, included with, every one of my sessions is giving an action plan after we talk that you can actually put into work and get real results quickly. To me, that's really important. That's what's helped my success.
Absolutely.
Action plans,
Yeah.
right? So we talk about mindset. That's the first thing. And then we talk about getting a plan of action to get to where they want to be. And we discuss what that looks like, right? We go into
and you've had great success, so then you can now show this and show what you've done, and because
Right.
you have the formula. Once you've done it, once you've put the work in, and you've actually that's what I like about coaches that have done it. I want to coach with somebody who's
Right.
done it, not
sure.
just a coach. Like, I'm a coach. Okay, well,
like they just started that as their career.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Like, let me coach you.
Well, I'm gonna be a coach. Okay, well, what have you done? Oh no, I haven't. Well, I've never done real. That's why I don't coach with people who weren't in. I don't have real estate coaches that weren't in real estate.
For sure.
Because it's very difficult to understand all the intricacies
sure.
of that. So
Right.
that's why I personally like coaching on like my business side of it directly with real estate. Same with where it's easier to coach people who are in the same industry.
It
as
is
well.
because you understand it to a T.
Yeah.
You're in every day.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So that's what we talk about, the plan of action, and then we talk about productivity, because that's going to shorten the gap to your success. So you can actually, get there sooner, making sure you're being effective with your time. And we talk about personal growth plan. That to me is extremely important, not just growing a business, growing as a person and living the life that you are looking to live.
Yeah. Because what's the point if you're not?
Right.
What's the point of life if you're not? If you just go to work and you hate your job and you come home and you kick the dog and beat the wife or whatever,
Right.
I mean, what kind of life is that?
Well, that's why it's so important to have a personal growth plan, because every single day when you learn and grow, you're implementing new ideas into your life, and you're being reminded. For an example, today, I took a 20-minute nap before I got my computer fixed earlier today, because I realized I wasn't eating the nutrients I needed.
Yeah.
I wasn't eating super healthy. I'm not eating bad, but that's how I can tell, because I'm not getting the right nutrients. My energy is not there. And through the personal growth action plans that I use personally, that's just an example. You be reminded of everything you need to remember. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like personally growing, but also
Yeah.
for your business. So it's in different aspects.
Yeah, so you can tell because you're self-aware. When you're coaching other people,
Yeah.
you coach yourself as well, because
Yep.
if you're telling other people and making recommendations on personal growth plan and productivity, you have to
You
look at
internalize
yourself
that,
too.
right.
It's like, okay, I'm telling you to do this, but I'm not implementing the same thing. So in being a coach, it's like a mirror.
It's like a mirror for sure.
It's-
I love that, Lisa.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
a good one.
Yeah, it's like a mirror. You're like, okay, well,
Coaching, yeah.
if I'm telling you to do that, then I have to look at myself.
Isn't it an awesome, what do you call it? A self accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
You're like, okay, you need to wake up early in the morning and this and this and this and this. And it's like, okay, shit, I rolled out at 8, and you really need to look at yourself, which is great.
Yeah.
So, and we talk about a lot about that in our book as well. The morning,
For sure. You got
the
to start
morning
it off
routine.
right.
Yes.
There's a reason why. Don't recreate the wheel, right? Don't recreate the wheel.
Yep.
Follow the millionaires and billionaires and the happiest people on this earth. Wake up early and they do the same thing every single day. Don't recreate it until you're there.
Yeah,
right?
just redo,
Copy
copy
it.
what someone's already done. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're going to give you the tools, right? When you make it that big, it is now your obligation to help others achieve. That's my belief.
Yeah, and then you put your own spin on it.
For sure. When
Like, okay, this is
because you got there.
this is everything. Exactly. This is everything that I've learned. This is like accumulated years and years and years or time, or for you, like implement, because you're running faster than most people. Like you're advanced, like more than, people twice your age.
I'm working on it.
With everything that you've done and just like going. But yeah, implementing, you gather all the information and then you can put your own spin on it and say, okay, well, here's what worked for me. That's how I coach and that's how I train. And that's the advice that I give, is just based on stuff that I've done and actually what I've done. I can't give advice to people if I haven't experienced it or gone through it or done it. And I make a lot of mistakes, all the time.
That's good.
I always do. I'm willing to try something. Sometimes it works, sometimes they don't. But I can probably help people more by the mistakes that I've made.
Yeah.
And like, okay, don't do this. This is what I did. Glad I did it. But by the way, don't do this.
Well, that's the thing. And that's why you're 10 steps ahead of everybody, Lisa, right? Is because you have that mindset.
Because I just jump.
Yeah.
I jump and
you know you're going to fail and you're happy about it. It's like, heck yeah,
Yeah.
I failed like 6 times today. I just learned so much.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
It's like, oh, I totally blew it on that one. But hey, guess what? I know what not to do next time.
Right. Well, I just read in a book and it said, every single day do one thing that you're scared of, or, fail. Like literally try and fail as much as possible in every aspect of your life consistently,
That's good.
Well, think about it. I mean, how much can you really do it if you just keep failing? Okay, here's a good example. And I talk about this in You Must. Babies have that. I grew up around a daycare. My mom had a daycare growing up, right? So I have like 12 kids. And when I'm leaving the house for school, they were either crying or yelling. And I'm getting home, they're either like laughing, having a good time, or crying.
Yeah.
And it's so funny watching these kids. Their learning curve is so high as a baby from 6 months to 2 years old. And you know why that is? It's because they keep failing. Literally.
Right.
It's when they get to that age, they start seeing their peers around them in the daycare they start understanding what a judging is, and they stop wanting to make mistakes. And now they start getting embarrassed.
Yeah.
So now they stop trying to fail.
Yeah.
And then that's why growing up, our learning curve soon flattens,
Yeah.
And smooths out. And it's not as high as when we were a baby, because they'd get up and fall and get up and fall and get up and fall 200 times a day.
Yeah. And I think in a culture where everything is so public, where everybody posts pictures and video, right? Like right now,
Right.
We're recording here right now. So, everyone's, and this podcast, and there's so much personal information where everybody has their own little platform, with their friends and their sphere of influence and people that they know, and everyone's so heavily connected. We see each other's lives, which is great. It's great. But on the flip side, it can cause a lot of fear and insecurity, because there's perception out there, and all these people are doing all these things, and oh, maybe I don't want to do it because I don't want to fail, because everyone will see me fail. If I go on Facebook and I say I'm doing something and then I don't do it, I'm failing, and everyone's gonna laugh at me and no one's gonna like me and whatever. There's all
it's
that
the fear of what people think.
Yes.
That starts at an early age.
Yeah.
You start getting really scared. I talk about in my book too, is I had this huge fear of what people thought growing up as a wrestler. I never hit my true potential. I was always a letdown for my family. That was a wrestling family, even for my coaches. And a big reason why I didn't perform was because I was scared of what people thought of me. I got bullied growing up and things like that. And I didn't want to be the spotlight, and I cared too much of what people thought about me. And that is what holds so many people back. It's that combined with fearing of failing, as we were just talking about.
Yeah, sure. I most of you guys know, and you know this, so I'm a recovering alcoholic. So I've been sober. June will be 9 years that I've been sober from alcohol, and I didn't want to share that with people for a long time.
Yeah.
My first 5 years that I was in recovery, I didn't want to share it because I thought that I'm an alcoholic. What the hell? Like, that's such a stigma. And I thought in business, people wouldn't trust me. I thought that people would think less of me, that I'm a recovering alcoholic. But the truth is, when I finally came out and said, hey, you know what, to my normal friends and family, or people that didn't know me, and started talking about it, I got such good feedback.
For sure.
Such good feedback. And people reach out to me all the time and say, hey, I'm going through this. Can you help me? I had such a fear that that people were going to judge me, that I kept it a secret. And I was actually hurting people by not sharing my story, because those are people that need help and need to
And
relate
you could
to
be
someone.
Influencing and impacting and helping them.
Yeah, and I
for
love it.
sure.
I love that I do now. I love when people call and say, "Hey, I'm struggling with this. Hey, can you help me? Can you some guidance?" Because I've been through it. And for me, I'm young, and a lot of people, like the alcoholic, the stereotypical, are older people. And so I like to be a resource to people struggling with addiction. And it's really prevalent in our culture right now.
Yeah.
And so, that fear that I was going to be judged or that people would think negative of me,
Right.
it actually was a detriment to society by me not sharing my breakthrough and my struggles and my overcoming of something that was so tragic.
You're bringing out such a good point, Lisa. So that's so awesome of you. I mean, and look at the impact you're doing now on a consistent basis
Thanks.
in people's lives. And that's what people, I think, also are the reason why they're not where they want to be. And the reason why, I believe in everybody, and anybody can do anything if they put their mind to it.
Absolutely.
And everybody has something to contribute to society that's special, right? That
Absolutely.
nobody else has.
Absolutely.
And it's not shining through because they are scared of what other people may think.
Yeah.
Right? And especially in this society right now. So I think you're 100% on the spot.
Awesome. All right, Dave. Well, we're going to wrap it up now. You guys out there, thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for having me. It was
This was
fantastic.
Awesome. So you guys stay tuned. David's book's coming out. You Must. My book will be out also. It's 3 weeks to freedom. Kickstart your kick-ass life
Sounds
in just
awesome.
21 days. And then our other book, so book number 2,
Yep.
for both Dave and I, is coming out, which is your first real estate commission check in less than 60 days. So all you real estate professionals out there, or people trying to get into the business, you want your first commission check in 60 days, buy our book.
Be ready to hustle. But
Yeah.
hey, with the book, you can make it happen, you guys.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Thanks for stopping by the Lisa Hill Show. For more information, please visit lisahillteam.com. Catch us on the next episode when Lisa brings you more real estate for the real world.